Well, that was a bit of a faff. Yes, well, that did not work, unfortunately. I don't know what was going on there. Martin's laughing in the background. He'll be joining us in a second. But yeah, so I followed the instructions on the Onestream Live channel, and I managed to push the RTMP stream to Onestream Live, but it didn't enable any of my social accounts. So it said, do you want to go live on these? You enable them. Complete mess. So anyway, so I'm just streaming right now on YouTube via trusty old Ecamm that just said, oh yeah, you've got a stream schedule. Do you want to go live to it? Yes, please. Let's bring Martin on. Martin is in a wonderful part of the world at the moment, and we can have a good chat together. Hello, Martin. Welcome from sunny Scotland, right?
Sunny Scotland. Yeah. So I am in the middle of Scotland, pretty much, in a place called Kenmore, and I am currently on my MacBook Pro with little Osbot Tiny, and I am breaking every single rule about things that you should not do when appearing on a live stream. So don't appear with a live bright white window behind you where the light is changing, and have different lighting conditions under your control. I'm not doing any of that, so it was very much a last minute drop in and see what happens. And so I've been sitting here for a few minutes speculating that Neil wasn't getting connected to all the places you
How did you think about that? Yes. Well, we've got Mark here from Education on Fire and Creative Amplifiers team. Hello, Mark. Thanks for joining. And he is right. Is this going to pop in? I don't even know where I don't know where my comments are. I don't know where anything is right now. Okay, let's bring him on here. And that's not you, is it, Martin? Oh dear, oh dear. It's all gone horribly wrong today. Why is that on there? Let me just get rid of this screen share. Goodness me. See, I didn't have my host and guest comments because I didn't think Martin was joining. There he is. All right, let's get these comments on if I've got my Social Stream Ninja enabled. There you go. Ecamm saves the day. Yes, it does, because Onestream is an epic fail right now. It's not the same as Restream. So I'm used to using Restream, where it actually automatically has a destination set in Ecamm Live's preferences, and so does Onestream Live. It's there, but it doesn't work. Anyway, so I don't know what's going on, but we've got Yolanda as well. Hello, Yolanda. It was very nice to meet you at Creator Camp as well. I'm still wearing the t-shirt, still living the dream, as it were. Hopefully everybody's recovered back from camp. But anyway, today we were going to be testing Onestream Live, so that didn't work. Martin has kindly joined me, as I said, from his wonderful vacation, breaking all the rules. So we could do a masterclass here on how not to set up your live stream studio by being sat actually in front of a window, but we want to see the view. So let's go back to that view. See, that is a beautiful view. So is there a name of this mountain behind you at the moment? Is there a specific area that you're in right now?
So that is Loch Tay behind me. So in Scotland, all the lakes via Bar 1, which is Lake of Monteith, are all called lochs. So a loch is a lake for any other term. It's at Loch Tay, and it's the start of the River Tay that runs down through various different towns and cities before reaching the North Sea. So what you're seeing behind us as well is beautiful Highland colours, a bit like New England. Maybe a few less reds, but some beautiful coppers and yellows and colours like that. So yeah, it's a lovely background. So I thought you'd like to see it. But in terms of streaming, you should never. If you look at Neil's setup, it's completely the other way around. He's totally in control of everything. I have no
apart from the stream deck. I mean, Martin could easily fix this. If he did have another light with him, he could have put a light on him, and it would have helped. But the tiny, we had a little bit of fun with the tiny tube before, as it was following Sheena in the room, and you got to be careful with us cameras because they will follow you around. So what we were going to talk about is the integration with Onestream Live. So that didn't work at all. But Martin has kindly sent a video in preparation for epic failures. And this is really going to be, I think, a series that Martin's going to bring together on top tips. Just quick tips, really, for usefulness and sort of workflows for when you're setting up your live stream. So let's run the video, and then we will maybe talk about how you're using this and what it is, and maybe where people can get hold of it. So let's just roll that VT, as they say in 1987.
I just thought I would pop in today and do a quick recording for you in terms of top tips. So I'm hoping to do a series of top tips, but one of the ones that I have found that has been very popular just recently was the ability to use one of these, just a standard clicker, or one of these, just something that costs you about $10, $15, $20 at the most, and is going to allow you to move between scenes. So go forward or go backward on a scene. And I have got 3 Stream Decks. I've got a 6-button Stream Deck, a 32-button Stream Deck. I've got one that sits on the floor and uses a foot pedal. But actually what I find is it's much easier just to use a clicker. And it's nothing special. You don't have to do anything clever. Providing Ecamm is the active application, the clicker is going to move you forwards or backwards on a scene. So just try that with pretty much any clicker. I did think, I wonder if it'll work with a selfie stick button, but I couldn't quite get that to work. But it would appear every other clicker that I use, it does work on. Now you need to be a bit careful, because if you have got, for instance, Keynote up, and Keynote was the last application you were playing about with, the clicker's going to move you backwards and forwards in Keynote. But in Ecamm, it will just magically move you backwards and forwards the scene with no problems whatsoever. And I find it way easier than searching for a button on the Stream Deck, or trying to find the foot pedal or anything along those lines. So I can do that out of sight, and I can pretend to do the sort of magical click of the fingers to move me between scenes, and then just click again and move between scenes. You know, whatever you want with your hand out of sight with the clicker. And of course you can also use it standing up as well. So that becomes really another useful aspect of that. But if I take this clicker, for instance, it is a Norwii ticker, Norwii, but anyone would do. This particular one, let's see if it's going to focus. Let's try that. Not that well. Perhaps it will if I hide my eyes. You can actually see that there are a number of buttons on that device. So what could you do with the other buttons? Now at the moment I just use the forward and back to move me backwards and forwards the scene, and that's all that's going to happen as standard. But there is a program called Keyboard Maestro. It's a favourite of Alec Johnson, and I'll let Neil pop a couple of links into the comments while he's watching this video, or give him something to do, to videos by Alec. One was from 3 years ago, and that's how long he's been using Keyboard Maestro for, and one is more recently where he talks about Keyboard Maestro and using it with Stream Deck to run pretty much his whole life, I think. But one of the things that Keyboard Maestro will do is allow you to program the buttons on pretty much anything to do anything. So I can press a button on here, and I could perhaps have a little pop-up and a little bit of music playing or something like that, and then it disappear again. Now I haven't gone and tried this, so I leave that to the expertise of Keyboard Maestro and the maestro himself, Alec Johnson. But I will go and try that at some point, because I've certainly managed to do something very similar with my mouse also. So I have got a Logitech gaming mouse. It's called a Hero gaming mouse, and that has got a couple of extra buttons on it, and I actually have just gone in and programmed those to do things like take a screen grab. So I press a certain button and it takes a screen grab, and that saves you doing the sort of 4 fingers command control shift 4 or 2 or whatever it is, I can't remember now, but it saves you doing all of that. So it occurred to me I can probably do exactly the same with the mouse in terms of scenes for Ecamm. So yet to be played about with, but if you want to take this at a very, very simple level, just go get your clicker out of the dusty box it's probably sitting in and go and play with Ecamm, moving backwards and forwards, one scene at a time, just like until you've got loads of people on the scene, if you really want. So that's my top tip for today. Something else that I found out is a little bug with Ecamm, whereby at the moment I don't seem to be able to drop in animated overlays and resize them. So let's have a quick look at that. Why not? Next scene. So this was my top tips scene, and I dropped in this little animated overlay that I was going to use. And unfortunately, fortunately I can make it smaller, but I go to increase the size and suddenly everything disappears off the screen. So I don't know what that's all about, but myself and Neil discovered that the other day, and we've dropped it in to Ken and Glenn as a, oops, there might be a little buglet, guys. Maybe there's something you can do about that. Anyway, I can go back to my previous scene and not worry about that one. That is the end of top tips for today. See you later. I'm hiding up in middle of Scotland in somewhere called Kenmore, and no doubt it'll be beautiful, but there's very little internet. See you later. Bye.
Well, it's working well enough, so thank you very much for that video, Martin. That's really good. It's interesting. So just real quick, that animated overlay you were using, was that a WebM or another MP4 file?
That was just an MP4, but I'm pretty certain I've done it with WebM files as well.
I'll have to double check. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for the video. So the clickers, I think I'm going to get one of those because it's quite handy to have, especially if you're standing up. It would have been quite useful as well during CCTV at Creator Camp. I actually had my Stream Deck fully sort of kitted out on my phone, which is good, because obviously if there's certain scenes that you want to sort of go to quickly, then it's obviously not easy if you don't have your run of show fully planned out. And it was a bit dynamic in that environment, as you can appreciate, so it wasn't always easy to sort of go back. But I think for a series of slides or scenes that you're creating in Ecamm and have that as your run of show, then the clicker is really just sort of easy and straightforward to use. And is it Bluetooth, right? So it just connects to your Mac as a keyboard.
Yeah, so I think I accidentally found out that it worked because I was using standing up, and I was using a clicker to go through my keynote slides with sharing it with Ecamm at the same time. And then I noticed, oh, if I'm on the Ecamm window, it moves forward a scene or backwards a scene. And that just got me thinking, well, actually, do you know what? It'd be much easier to just sequence my scenes within Ecamm and then just move forward. If I know the run of show is going to go in a certain sequence, then it's much easier to just click through whenever I'm ready. And it leaves me, my hands are free. I'm not searching around on the keyboard. I'm not wondering whether I should wear shoes or socks to press the foot pedal on Elgato's Stream Deck foot pedal. So it just makes life a lot simpler and easier. And lots of people, I'm sure, have got these things sitting in the back of a drawer somewhere. And any clicker will work fine for just moving backwards and forwards on a scene. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually talking to a customer of mine that was doing a workshop presentation, and she uses a script, and she's got a couple of monitors, and she was in a remote location as well, so she wasn't in her home studio, so she was given monitors and things to work with in that. And obviously it's a high octane environment where you've got quite a few hundred people on this workshop, and she was flawless going through Ecamm and doing the script and everything. And I said, so just out of curiosity, how are you doing this script? How are you moving it? Because obviously she's got bullet points and things to keep her on point. And she was just simply using, top tip, just her mouse. A magic mouse was on her knee under here, and she was just slowly scrolling through the script as she was reading it, meaning that she could be quite fluid, quite dynamic, change, go off script, do whatever you want, instead of having the script automatically scrolling as typically teleprompters do, or using voice sync as the Elgato prompter sometimes does work. But obviously they're looking at that as well. But anyway, so again, just using something as simple as a mouse, and with these multifunction mice now, you can use the backwards and forwards, and you can program them to do whatever you want. I think you said with Keyboard Maestro, you can actually use it so when you action a key or action a clicker or something like that, it's actually going to invoke the application that is being used with that. Because that's some of the issues with these shortcuts on the Stream Deck, if the application that you're trying to action isn't the main application, like right now my Ecamm Live isn't, so if I try to press a button to remove the UI or go into live demo mode, it's not going to work for me because the application is not front and center. So I think Keyboard Maestro actually keeps those applications front and center and then enables you to actually use the respective shortcuts, which is, yeah, it'd be pretty useless if it didn't do that. So I think Keyboard Maestro is really good. I must have a look at Alex's video because Keyboard Maestro has been around as long as I've had a Mac. So that must be 15 years plus. I think it was one of the first applications to come out for the Mac, and it's just been around forever and got probably more sophisticated clearly over the years. But I think Alec, as you mentioned, just swears by it, uses it all the time for everything. It's probably got keyboard macros and functions to make the tea and toast in the morning or something.
I think he has almost. So he did say he made a video 3 years ago, but nothing much has changed with the product in the last 3 years. However, he felt he should do a newer video just because he's now connected it to a load of other things that have changed. So Stream Deck has a lot more capabilities now, and Alec has integrated with all sorts of different plugins, Stream Deck plugins with Keyboard Maestro to do sequences of events effectively by pressing a single button, and ding, 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 10 things happen, and he's golden. He's quite happy, you know. He's not having to search around all over the place or cut and paste stuff or resize things. Just does everything for him. So,
everything for him. That's good. So speaking of Stream Deck, I was actually going to show you, I just did a video on this yesterday, but I thought, well, whilst we're here and got nothing better to do because Onestream Live isn't working as expected, but I'm going to test it again. I'm going to go live and do something different. I think I might know what the problem is, but it might be user error, but it's a bit too clunky for me. Let me just go on to share if I can. All right. I know you love the little picture-in-picture at the bottom, Martin, so that's why I put it there for you. So it's the easiest way when I'm just sharing a screen. But anyway, so Stream Deck has a new beta version of their software, and it's version 6.8. And if you have a Stream Deck Plus, you have the ability now to do some new functions. So let's go into the Stream Deck Plus and let's just go onto a brand new page. So with the Stream Deck Plus, as you are probably aware, the Stream Deck allows you to have dials, which is down at the bottom, and buttons. Now the dials can have different levels of functionality compared to those buttons. So what they've added now is something called Create Action Trigger. And what that does is it turns the dial into 3 action buttons. So the center press can be one particular thing, the left dial can be one action, and the right dial can be another. So for example, if you're using Ecamm Live and you have a Stream Deck Plus, one of the things you could do is you could use it to navigate through your scenes. Now there's obviously different ways of doing this. You can use clickers, as Martin's just pointed out, and so on. Or you could also use it to use another device like a mouse or something. But in this particular case, the action trigger is really useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I can add last comment as the center button. So you won't be able to see this, but I'm just going to now move my Stream Deck button. So I'm just going to move my host demo actually in a different thing here. So if I go to the left, so the previous scene is obviously going to be Martin in his solo. Sorry, there's a big plane going overhead. I was like, what is that? And then if I move it to the right, we have the next scene, and that which is the demo. And then if I just hit click, it would just potentially post the last comment, which is mine, tiny comment down here. But you get the idea that now this Stream Deck allows you to have multi-functions within this. So that sort of works quite well. And again, the Stream Deck is becoming more and more advanced. They're thinking of different ways, I think, how people can use these different buttons and functions as they go along. So I think it's pretty cool. And I'm interested to see what the workflows and capabilities are by combining Stream Deck with Keyboard Maestro, especially when you've got now effectively one dial that can do 3 actions. So technically you could probably have like a Keyboard Maestro shortcut per action within a dial. So you're just effectively doubling or tripling the amount of workflows and actions you can have from a single button press. Like I like the folders, for example, in Ecamm, the Stream Deck Plus as well, where you can have multiple things. But yeah, lots of stuff going on. We have a few comments coming in. Let me just find the comments button.
Can you scroll through them using your Stream Deck?
Can you scroll? Yeah, exactly. But for whatever reason, they're not coming through on this other system. Things are breaking left and right today, so I'm seeing no comments coming in the Social Stream Ninja. Let me just do a refresh. Goodness me. All right. That is fantastic. So that's not working either. Let me bring up my comments and reaction. This is just how
Have you been paying all your subscriptions and bills lately, Neil?
Well, Social Stream Ninja's free, so you would expect it to work, and it's just stopped working. There's just no. Let me just stop this again. Well, how annoying. Could somebody just post a comment for me in the YouTube chat to see if this comes through? I'll have to bring up other people's comments from somewhere else. It's just so annoying today. But if I was to have to use this with Onestream Live, because the comments wouldn't come in natively in Ecamm, then how would you get comments then? You'd have to put they have like a comments window in their UI, but that would mean you'd be showing all comments, and that's a big no-no, as you know. So there you go. Interesting. So let's see if there's any comments. Okay. So thanks, Valerie. So now it's started to work again. So I see your comments now. What I was trying to do is use this Social Stream Ninja plugin to do it. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, Valerie. It's so nice. Are you now going to be our moderator? Does that mean I'm going to make you a moderator at some point? And you can ban people and do really fun things being on the YouTube channel? That'd be good. Let's see, giving you all that power. Can moderators actually kick off other moderators? That's a question.
Can they kick off the host? I don't know. Could possibly.
That'd be really funny if they did. Anyway, thanks for joining, Val. It's nice to see you. So anything else that's going on in your life at the moment, Martin, in terms of your streams, your profiles and things like that? Anything you want to talk? Because it's probably going to be a short stream tonight, considering we can't use or test out other things.
I suppose in terms of keeping with the theme of the stream, perhaps we should summarize what we thought we were going to be talking about, which is, Restream, Ecamm, StreamYard, Onestream Live. What's the differences between them? 4K, 1080p, etc. And yeah. I think you can summarize those much better than I can. but
no problem.
But the point is, they nearly all sound the same. They nearly all appear to do the same thing, but there's a number of subtle differences. We thought we were going to be able to stream to multiple places using Onestream Live. We thought that there was a 1080p restriction on the definition of what we're going to be able to do. But my takeaway from it was I thought we would be able to condense all of the comments into one location and then feed them back into our Ecamm production. So we were just looking in one location. However, none of that seems to be true.
Well, not with the way that it's configured at the moment and how it's been set up and how it's working. So yeah, we'll have to dig in a little bit more into that. So to try and explain the differences, let's take Ecamm Live first, our tool of choice. So Ecamm Live does have the ability to multi-stream from Ecamm Live to multiple destinations. So that means you can go live from a single Ecamm instance to YouTube, LinkedIn, not Facebook anymore, X, and other destinations that support this RTMP platform. So that's great. And if you've got a decent internet connection with decent bandwidth, then there's no reason why you shouldn't use Ecamm Live to do it, because Ecamm Live will basically set up the stream for you. You can schedule and do everything from there. So all the stream setup and scheduling is all done within Ecamm Live, and when it's time to go live, you just hit go live and you're good to go. So that's one method. And right now, today, I'm just streaming to a single destination from Ecamm Live, which is YouTube, because of obviously the problems we've just been talking about. Now, Restream and Onestream Live are multi-stream platforms that will basically proxy whatever you send to them via a single stream, and they will multi-stream out to the destinations on your behalf. So for me, I've been using Restream now for many years, and it's a godsend because my internet connection isn't the fastest. So all I need to do is send one single stream out from Ecamm Live to Restream as a destination, and then Restream will proxy those connections and send the onward stream to as many destinations as I add. So they support Rumble, X, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. And the same goes for Onestream Live. So Onestream Live has the same principle. However, there are some subtle differences. The first one is that Restream will support up to a 4K stream natively, and wherever the destinations will accept that, YouTube, for example, will accept a 4K stream. LinkedIn will not, it's 1080p and so on. So those destinations will be fully supported with Restream. Restream will then also augment and collate all your chat messages from all these destinations into one chat system, and then it will send them back to Ecamm Live so you can see it in your comments and reactions. So it's a one place where you can have all your comments and reactions in one window from multiple destinations, and it will tell you which channel they're coming from. They'll indicate it by a little icon. So Restream works pretty well. The Restream advantage over Ecamm Live right now for me is that if I'm streaming to LinkedIn, Ecamm Live doesn't support live comments coming from LinkedIn. It's not a problem with Ecamm, it's a problem with LinkedIn and how they talk back to Ecamm. That may get fixed in the future. But Restream will support LinkedIn live comments, and it will come in fine. So Restream works fine. However, Onestream is a Restream competitor. And the subtle differences are that at the moment, even with the Pro plan on Onestream Live, they max out at 1080p. So if you did want to stream anything else other than 1080 and go above that resolution, then they don't support that. Onestream Live do actually offer a few differences in terms of additional destinations. They still have the consolidated chat. And my understanding was that they had a direct integrated connection with Ecamm Live, where I would just set up Onestream Live as a destination, send up my stream as I was trying to do tonight, and then it would stream to these multiple destinations. But for whatever reason, looking at the video that I did before I went live, it seems to be a little bit of a faff, for want of a better term, because it's almost like you have to set up two streams in order for that to work, like one RTMP stream to Onestream Live, and then you kick off the thing. The problem is that when I did schedule the live stream via Onestream Live to LinkedIn, X, and YouTube, the only one that populated, i.e. created a scheduled event, was YouTube. So Restream didn't honor, LinkedIn Live didn't honor the scheduled event from Onestream Live, and I don't know why that was. So again, that's something else to investigate. So from what I've seen at the moment, if you've got Ecamm Live, you've got a decent internet connection, use that. And the choice of tool that I will use right now for multi-streaming still is Restream, unless I can get Onestream Live to do what I want it to do, and it will potentially support 4K in the future. So I know that's a lot to digest, and I have done a multi-stream video on my channel previously that explains it a little bit better, but now we're throwing in Onestream Live into the mix. Who knows how that's going to work? So I just need to do some more experimentation, and I'd like to know, anybody in the audience, if anybody has actually tried to use Onestream Live with Ecamm, because right now it doesn't seem to connect in the way that I would expect it to do. Anyway, I need to take a breath now because there's some comments coming in as well. Go ahead.
So I think Onestream Live, one of their sort of key lines is we stream to 45 different platforms. So I kind of get the impression maybe we're doing something here, we're missing something. I don't know. But just to reiterate what Neil was saying, or re-clarify for those out there who haven't taken all of that on board, there's a couple of things or reasons why you might want to use something like Restream rather than Ecamm. And one of them is if you've got a low internet, then trying to stream with Ecamm, it's going to stream 3 places, will take 3 times the amount of streaming. Whereas if you're using one of the other services, you go out to the cloud, to the service, and then the service does the spreading the good news, I suppose. And also that's not just internet, that's also your computer power as well. So if your computer power is not brilliantly good, then streaming to multiple locations via Ecamm, it could be an issue for you because it will chew up everything. However, there is a lovely little test within Ecamm itself will let you know whether you've got enough power in your computer to do that. But if you even suspect that you might not have, you're probably better off firing off effectively one stream to something like Restream that then distributes it to all the other locations for you. There will, of course, then be some lags going on. So do you want to pick up on that one, Neil?
Yeah, so some people call it lags, some people know it as delay or latency, but effectively, when you are streaming to any destination, there is going to be some form of delay. It's just based on the laws of physics, and it depends on which streaming platform you stream to. There can be some delay associated with getting chat messages in. Typically on YouTube, it's 15 seconds. Some other destinations are very quick. I think X is quite quick as well, but there is obviously going to be some delay associated with multi-streaming to these different platforms and different destinations. So you've got to be aware of where you're sending it to and so on. Every platform behaves differently. There are some settings that you can configure in particular to get your chat messages much quicker, to avoid any delay and things like that. But yeah, there is a few things to take into consideration when it comes to delay or lag associated with multi-streaming platforms or even streaming to a single platform. I do have a diagram actually that I can share in a minute. I just found. Well, it's an old diagram. I'll show it right now. It's an old diagram. So effectively what it was is if you're streaming from Ecamm Live here as a single source, then Restream in this particular case will just send out the stream to all these multiple destinations. And it's as simple as that. That's all it basically does. And it's proxying this connection, as I said. So for me, who's only using Starlink with not the best internet connection, then this is a real bonus, allowing me to stream to multiple destinations, whereas Martin quite rightly said that if I was to stream to multiple destinations from Ecamm, then I would be tripling or quadrupling the amount of bandwidth required in order to send the stream out, depending on what you do. So basically, that's the stream and how it works. We're getting lots of questions coming in. I better answer some of these. Okay. So Val is saying she would love to be our moderator. That's okay. Just send me a direct message, Val, or an email or something with your credentials so I can add you as a moderator to my YouTube channel, and then we can give you all the power. Hopefully,
I thought you were going to interview Val there for a minute there.
Oh no, we had a chat. We had a chat on at Creator Camp, and yeah, she's more than valid to come on the channel. Exactly. So she's passed the test, even though she didn't know it was a test. Valerie said, "What is the Onestream versus Ecamm? Did I miss?" Hopefully, we're trying to explain what that is, but it's interesting if people are using multi-stream services other than Ecamm. I know that Sean, one of the guys that's been on the show, or at least commenting in the show a couple of times, he works in a church environment and their internet connection isn't very good, so he uses Restream, I think, for most of that. Another question: do either of us use Speedify? I've played around with it. I did do a trial with them, but Speedify relies on having another connection other than your internet available to you. So Speedify, quick overview of Speedify for people that don't know. Speedify is a bonding service for internet piping. So all that means is if you have, let's say, Starlink at home for me, and I've got a very good 5G connection as well on my phone, it's going to bond those two connections together to make one larger internet connection. So it offers some sort of redundancy as well. So Starlink was to go down, the stream would go via 5G, for example, and vice versa. The problem I have is where I live, my 4G, 5G connection isn't even worth using. So it would offer little redundancy or internet bonding with regards to having any of that set up. But I don't know, Martin, do you use Speedify? Have you played with it at all?
I don't, but probably for very similar reasons. And if I lived where I am at the moment, then I probably would look at Speedify to get as many different, I suppose, tubes to stick together to get out to the web as best as possible. But when I'm at home, I've got a great fiber connection direct into the house. So there is no need. It never goes down. So there's not an issue there at all. But it's very, very useful for people who have dodgy internet connections or variable internet connections, or where suddenly the children will arrive home from school and jump onto your internet connection and it goes down the way. Well, if you've got your 5G phone sitting next to you, then it will jump onto that hotspot and combine it with your existing internet connection, and you'll get a bigger pipe effectively through Speedify. So I think it's a very useful tool. It's just in my circumstances, I don't need it. So
yeah. And coincidentally, at Ecamm, for those who went, we had some problems with the internet at the location. So Speedify team came in, and they basically brought in this Miro device, which is a black box with about 300 aerials on antennas on the back, and effectively, I think it had like 4 or 5 5G SIM cards in it, and then we're using Doc's portable SIM card as well. So I think, yeah, I guess there must have been 4 or 5G connections all binding together to make this internet work. And we did stream successfully. There was no glitches. It worked a treat. So Speedify did a great job with that. And now they've got this sort of physical box that you can buy. If only I had decent 4 or 5G connections, it would have been something to look at. But there you go. Anyway, got lots of comments coming in. Interestingly enough, Social Stream Ninja, and I'll probably do a show on this as well with you. Social Stream Ninja's comments come in quicker than YouTube's own comments when using Ecamm Live's comments and reactions window, because you can. I've got them both side by side, and John's just joined us. Hello, John, and his comment came in quicker in the Social Stream Ninja. I think it's because it's a web platform. That's why it's quicker in that respect. Anyway. And Valerie's saying to John, shouldn't you be working? I don't know, John, do you normally work at this time? I don't even know what time it is for you at the moment. Maybe it's in the evening, or I don't know. I can't work it out. My time zones are all over the place. And just to complicate everything for people in the US for next week, for the next 2 weeks, our clocks in Europe will go back an hour on Sunday, and the US will go back on the 4th of November. So there's always that 2-week twilight zone period where we're 1 hour closer to the US just for 2 weeks. So that screws every show or every stream up that you've scheduled, but there you go.
And so talking
Valerie,
of twilight zones, I think I'm in the twilight zone at the moment. I notice that it's getting darker behind me, and the light in the camera is not coping with that at all. It's not liking it. So more reasons, people, to control your lighting settings and appear like I was earlier on in the little video rather than I am today. Next week, back to normal.
Back to normal. Well, when we can't see Martin, we'll end the stream. That's how we know the stream's over, when it goes too dark. And obviously it's getting darker a little bit earlier up in Scotland than it is down. And it's like a few seconds, isn't it? But something like that. So let's take a look at the comments. Oh, so John said it is 11... What time? 11:44 p.m. Shouldn't you be in bed, John? Never mind working. It's time to go to bed. It's far too late. Unless you're a late riser, but I guess if you're working, then not. Don't burn the candle at both ends, John, but appreciate you being here today, and it was lovely to meet you at Creator Camp as well. And John says, Martin's fresh haircut. I think it's just because you don't see Martin's hair, because typically he wears a hat of some kind. That's what it is, right?
Actually, it was a haircut today, and shows how Turkish barbers get all over the world, but there's one just down the road, and I popped in, and he barbered me.
Oh, but he barbered you. All right. Okay. Well, that's a nice term. John just corrected. It's so early for John in the morning. It's actually AM, so it's 11 AM. Well, that's better, John. That's fine. That's okay. That's better. See, you're so tired, you don't even know what time of day it is. But that's really funny. So Valerie did say that she had OneStream Live. I can't even say it. There's too many streams. OneStream Live from a while ago, and you should take a look. Well, yeah. If you still got an account, then let me know. And I am talking to Ken just to find out whether he believes the OneStream integration should be working. And I'm absolutely convinced that when I set up OneStream Live as a test account, just a default test account with my own credentials, then it worked fine. But I mean, hats off to OneStream Live. They did kindly reach out to Martin and I and gave me a pro account to test with. So I'm determined that it will work. I just think it's a bit different. I need to work out how that is. Valerie's asking another question as well. So with OneStream Live, is your guests able to see the comments? Yeah, let me just think about that. No, the guests aren't able to see the consolidated comments. Only I'm able to see those. So if somebody's commenting on YouTube, then they'll see them on YouTube. But people who are not, say people's on LinkedIn, for example, and they're making comments on LinkedIn, then they're not going to see the comments who's joined on YouTube. So the only way to sort of see those consolidated comments and get everybody together is to do what we're doing now and bring them into Ecamm Live. So at least Ecamm Live can show the comments from different destination streams. That's interesting because there isn't really a platform for that. If I was on the Restream or OneStream Live Studio, which is similar to StreamYard, which is a web-based platform, then everybody who's in that environment and see my comments would see it as well. But it's just a different way of how it works. But there you go. So John says, he's been catching up in his sleep. Even though I really love the moment we got to hang out together, I did have to recharge my batteries. Just feeling alone. I am an introvert that plays an extrovert. Oh, right. I see. Well, it was great for you to come out and have a chat with us and everything. I do appreciate you sort of spending the time with us and that. And well done for winning one of the prizes. I think John won the prize for the happiest camper, I think, because he was very happy, very enthusiastic. So you hid your introvertism well, if that's a word. But there you go. So we've nearly done an hour. We've babbled on for an hour, even though we've not had a huge amount to talk to. We've had some great comments and stuff coming in. So do we have a plan for next week? Have we scheduled anything with this gentleman yet, or are we planning to do that at another time?
So yes, next week we're hoping to be a lot more organised. I will be somewhere with a much better lighting conditions and without so many reflections going on. Another bad thing, reflections at this time of night. So we're going to be bringing on a guest, and it's somebody who I've seen on LinkedIn, who I've been connected with for a while, but I was very, very impressed with a short video he did on LinkedIn, whereby he was against a white backdrop, but he had comments dropping in front of him and diagrams dropping in behind him, and the whole thing looked really cool. And the more I looked at it, I initially thought perhaps that's green screen. Then I looked more carefully, and due to the lighting and some shadows, I worked out that it wasn't green screen. So next week, we're going to show you that little video, and then we'll discuss how this gentleman has achieved that, and also look at his studio setup, because he happens to be up in an attic room, and so is Neil, and we'll look at the differences between those. He is a Mac user, and he's quite keen to find out more about Ecamm. So I think there's going to be a lot of exchange and information going on, and he will be talking about how he has done this particular little video. And of course, it includes a little bit of AI as well, as everything does if it's new at the moment. And I kind of thought it was something to do with that, but it was a program I hadn't heard of before. So if I've not heard of it, then it's definitely worth sharing, and you can guarantee that between now and next week, I will be looking into that program a little bit more, but I'm not going to tell you what it is at the moment. But an interesting AI program. And in particular, I think that this becomes important with the revelation that indeed LinkedIn is going to start promoting vertical video. So I think there is a lot of professionals out there who could be doing vertical video on LinkedIn that is not about talented cats or dancing children or whatever else. It's using the space in a serious way to convey messages, but multiple messages at the same time. So not just audio, it is visual, it's not radio. Let's actually have something going on in the background that helps you convey the messages you're trying to get across. And Lindley, his name is, who we'll be seeing next week, is doing that very, very well already. but I think there's a lot of potential for LinkedIn in particular with these new vertical video formats to do something seriously clever and different.
Definitely. Great. Well, looking forward to that. There's quite a lot of things that we can talk about. And yeah, the software, which we won't mention, I think is mainly used for post-production. It's not going to be able to do something live. But even so, it's a very, very good tool for that type of workflow. A few more comments and things coming in before we go. So stay tuned for that. That's next Thursday. That's Halloween, actually. So it's the Halloween show. So does that mean we have to dress up? Probably not. I'll just put a little pumpkin or somewhere on the thing. But Martin's quite scary right now anyway, being in the dark. So let me... So Valerie just... Halloween. Very Halloweeny. So yeah, the big news in the tech for Ecamm users this week is that Scenery is going away. So Scenery is actually being bought by another company, or they're merging with another company. Nobody seems to know what that company is yet, but they give their users a couple of weeks' notice to remove all the videos from their platforms. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean that they're going to honor and save any of those videos. I'm not sure what that means with regards to any sort of heavy lifting and sharing and workflows that they've set up with other users. So that's not great. Hopefully, they can do something for their user base, because obviously it's a subscription-based service, and it would be nice if they did something looking after their customers. It'd be interesting to see who they merge with. I'd be interested to know in the chat if anybody knows who that might be. I thought it could be Opus Clip, because they're doing lots of AI type workflows, and Scenery's AI and transcript, because Scenery really, if you look at what Descript is doing, it's a very similar workflow where they're doing transcription and clipping and things like that. So I don't think it will be anybody like Descript. It could be Adobe. Who knows? But interesting to see. I'm sure we'll find out when they announce it. And I don't think Scenery is a public traded company either, so they don't have to disclose anything, right? If they're not public, they can just do whatever they want and then get bought by somebody else. Yeah, so Valerie says, yeah, nobody knows yet. Hi, Joseph. Thank you so much for joining. Again, diehard fan. Thank you, Joseph, for being here. I don't have any Halloween costumes. I mean, this is scary enough. So I think we'll just leave it at that. Maybe, as I said, I'll put a few pumpkins in there. I don't know. We'll do something, and so on. And as Valerie said, 2 weeks' notice for Scenery customers is quite short notice. So it is crazy, and it isn't cool that they're doing that. But maybe they must have known about it, being in companies over the years that have gone through takeovers, mergers, and so on. These things are known for months in advance. They just don't happen overnight, but we'll see. So that's fine. Pressure's on. We'll have to see. I mean, I only have like a Christmas hat. It's too early. Somebody was saying the other day, I think it was Mark, who was telling me that his wife was in a garden centre and they're already playing Christmas music. It's not even the end of October yet. This is how it all kicks off. Right, I did see. We'll be seeing Easter eggs soon. Anyway, so if there's if you want to send us any topics in the comments for future shows, then this is your time to do it now. We typically on this show every Thursday talk nonsense most of the time, but we do talk tech about different things around Mac specifically. This show was typically me featuring some workflow and so on, and Martin has kindly decided to join me sort of for the long haul. So we will still be continuing with workflow topics, things that will enhance your production, some tips and tricks and things, not necessarily just related to Ecamm, but video production, audio, other workflows, presentation skills, bits and pieces, and things like that. Because obviously there's a lot of media out there that we can share, and lots of platforms that sort of dictate how to present. Vertical video, as Martin's mentioned, is taking off big time in LinkedIn, and with YouTube Shorts now being not so short anymore, the 3 minutes, then yeah, things are just changing. So ever evolving technology that we live in, and who knows what new technology is coming down the pipe, but lots of great stuff with AI. Let's see any more comments coming in. John saying where he is, Christmas decorations are everywhere now in the shops. Yeah, I think Christmas decorations in the UK have been in the shops since September, right? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's that early. But
Is Neil muted or am I muted? I'm not quite sure. Neil seems to have gone very quiet on me.
I'm muted. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. So I was saying, is Are Christmas decorations playing where you are at the moment, or?
No, I don't think they're there quite at the moment, but I'm just thinking to myself that I maybe need to do some sort of bat overlay, bats in the belfry type of thing for Halloween coming up, or a
That would
bat
be great.
button,
Bat
or a bat
button.
button, something like that. Just a token gesture. I'm not going to town, but
No, don't go
I
crazy.
did-
Don't go crazy.
there's a couple of services that I use, video type
Okay.
templating, and I have noticed there's a whole bunch of Halloween templates that suddenly appear
Of
front
course.
and center.
Well,
So I'll pick a couple of those.
I might put something here on the show for next week, and maybe change the Creator Cafe logo into a pumpkin or something. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. So my audio went away, John, because a top tip for you: if you have a Stream Deck pedal, don't have the middle pedal as your main mic audio mute, because you could just gently touch it. You know, especially if you're a fidget like me, where I'm just touching my foot now and again. That's what happens being a piano player, always playing around with your feet. Anyway, topics for next time, we'll discuss them, I think, Martin and I. We do have a good topic for next week. There's great guests coming on, sort of lots of great information there, I think. And again, somebody else's different perspective who's from the broadcast world, not currently using Ecamm, but some interesting stuff, I think, that we can learn from that gentleman next week. So yeah, if there's nothing else, anything else from you, Martin, before we let you go, because we can't see you anymore anyway. So
I think we're fading to darkness here,
fading to black,
and a natural disappearing end of show tendency.
Oh dear. Right. Well, I'm gonna. Oh, there's another question coming in. These questions are coming in thick and fast. And comments. Last one. John said, I used to have an end stream on the big pedal, but I stopped doing that after ending my streams abruptly. That was OBS. No confirmation like Ecamm Live. Yes, you can just hit that sort of end stream button, and you're done, and that's it. It's all over after that.
Of course, the flip side of the coin there is you can accidentally think you've ended your stream with Ecamm, and then as soon as you're off air, as you think, you suddenly find out that you weren't off air at all, and you hadn't finished entering, that you should have pressed the button twice, and you were still saying bad things about Valerie when she could hear you. Exactly.
That happened to James Hicks. Not saying bad things about Valerie, just that he was online unnecessarily after he thought he was going live. I always make sure that I'm off air before I start to complain about people. I'm just kidding, people. Love the fact that everybody's here today. It's really nice to see you. It was great. It was great to meet everybody at Creator Camp. It's nice to see that you're here as well. And keep joining us every Thursday, same time, same place. Valerie, I'll reach out to you on Slack so you can send me your credentials, and we'll find out what's going on. And what's Valerie saying now? Something about being dangerous. Okay, John's saying he has to fade out. We're going. Thank you for your time. I'll just go back to me before I let Martin disappear completely. Martin's now faded into black, literally, with the fact that there is no sunlight where he is. It looks a beautiful place, so I hope the weather keeps well for Martin. And I thank you all for joining me today, and we will see you on the next show next Thursday. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week. Take it easy. Bye.